Good morning. Welcome to the Watchman News, a nonpartisan news source trying to do our best to bring you factual news of events around the world and an advanced look at preparedness and how to mitigate the coming turbulence. So that's what I've came up so far for kind of a little intro, because that's one of the things I learned from Mike Tango Whiskey is that he sets that expectation right up front, and I think that's a genius idea, and so I'm going to start doing that as well. The wording might change up a little bit. I'm not necessarily a fan of how that flows, but I'm going to try to remember to do that because I think it's a good thing to do. Okay, wow. As the title says, I'm the most concerned for this nation that I have ever been. Pendulum of power. And kind of an interesting thing with this, yes, I will ask AI for image generation, because it's quick, it's easy. I don't always do it, but it's quick, it's easy. So I asked both ChatGPT and Grok for an image for a YouTube video thumbnail with that title, right? And Grok spit examples out pretty quick, and that's what you'll see on the thumbnail is what Grok gave me. ChatGPT, it's still spinning. It's still spinning. So anyway, interesting stuff. I am concerned. I am thoroughly concerned with what's going on in this nation. Man, how do you get such a stark difference in anything? You know what I mean? So as I said in the beginning, you guys know I'm nonpartisan. I don't root for either side. What I root for is good versus evil. And it's kind of hard to stand behind any politician, really, to be honest. But the thing I'm very concerned with is the pendulum of power, and I've talked about it before. Right now, the pendulum is swung pretty hard to the right. And I'm just concerned that the next administration is going to be Democrat, and that pendulum's going to swing just as far, if not more, to the left. And I think that's something that we all need to be mindful of. You know, I've called it out many times before. We kind of live in an opportunistic nation, and we live in a nation to where people will jump on the opportunity, even if they think it's fair. If it were unfair to be done against them, they will jump on the opportunity to do it against another. Okay, and that's a form of opportunism, and that's not good. That's not good. And the only path I see to de-escalation is for everybody to look inward. And it's just mind-blowing what's going on. I know a guy on Facebook. I was friends with his deceased in-laws. And apparently, and I'm just going by a post that he had made, that apparently he'd been kind of a lifelong Democrat. And he made a post and said that, he's switching teams. He's going Republican. And there was only one person commenting that I had seen at the time on his post, but they left like 3 different comments. And I have to say that pretty much everything they said was wrong. It was false. Every example they used as why he was a bad guy for switching teams was based on misinformation. So I look at that, and I see the misinformation on both sides. And it's insane. One thing I need to look back into, because I never did follow up on it, was that incident up north. Wisconsin, I believe it was. Wisconsin, Minnesota, one of the two. I think Wisconsin. I've got to look it up again. Where the politicians, unfortunately, were killed. And I know that there was a lot of craziness as far as motive and stuff like that at the time. That's why I need to go back and look, because if you've been around here very long, you know that I don't just jump on something. I don't just, if something comes out in the news, I don't just jump behind it, and I kind of wait until some of the facts come forward. And I know the guy. I know he wore a mask and that he had driven a what it looked like to be a police car and all that stuff. But I was a little bit confused at the time as to how that person leaned, because there was a bunch of different things going around, and I don't know which was misinformation and which was not. But there is a claim that was that the person that committed those acts was right-leaning. Now, from what I recall back from when it happened, I thought they were a bit left-leaning, but I could be, again, a lot of stuff went around, and I need to check back on that. The reason I'm bringing that up is because, the right will say, well, we don't commit political, violence against the left. And that's not necessarily true. So, I mean, that's the first step I think that we have to do as a nation, is identify where our involvement is. That's why, you know what, I had to change the focus and the direction of this channel, and the focus and direction of myself, right? Because I want to see de-escalation. And if I'm not willing to completely de-escalate on every level, then I certainly can't ask others to do it, and I certainly can't be an example of it. I don't know if we can come back as a nation from this. And that is what concerns me so bad. And the one thing that I see preventing us from being able to heal is that the media is giving out different realities. And what do we do? What do we do? How do you fix this and at the same time keep respect to the First Amendment? That's a toughie. I don't have answers. A lot of concerns, few answers. So anyway, I'm going to be going live either today, tomorrow, I don't know. I really enjoyed our last live. That's kind of what I was intending on doing back when I previously went live, when I was starting to do the show again, 5 nights a week. That was what I was intending to do. Have a just have a live stream to where I just talk to you folks. That's it. It's not me just sitting there reading news. I don't want to do that. That's not. You can get your news a million places. You know what I mean? You can get your news. I want to do something more than that. I want to do something better than that. So I'm going to try to kind of change formats, try to keep more focus on the chat and having a conversation in chat. That's where my focus is going to be. I think where I made a mistake the last time I did that was I went back to doing it 5 nights a week. And I think that's where I went wrong. Because then, what am I doing? Well, I'm trying to get news to be able to cover an hour or so, right? I don't want to do that. That's not my intent. I don't want to be fill. I don't want to be fluff. So I think probably if I do to commit to anything, it'll probably be like 1 day a week. And I'll have to figure out day, time, whatever. Of course, it can't be during Shabbat. Yeah, gonna work on that. So, as far as today, I don't know if I'll go live today, tomorrow, what. I'll try to post it ahead of time, schedule it ahead of time so you have a bit of a heads up. Other than that, I'm going to be shooting the video today on rebuilding the cross pods, the Vipresso cross pods, and it's spelled Xros, but as far as I know, it's actually pronounced cross, and that's kind of just like a cutesy thing where it starts out with an X because that's a cross. Anyway, call it whatever you will. I'm going to do a video of rebuilding those today, and get that out to you folks. And check this out. I brought this up. Let me show it to you before I hop out of here. So this is why I do this. This is why I rebuild my own stuff, right? Now, I can't make mesh coils. I don't have the equipment. You'd have to have a stamping machine and all that. So it's kind of hard for me to make my own coils when they're mesh. So I have to buy them. Got to buy them from China. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at with this. So these are the coils right here. Now, I'll put it in the video. I measured the coils that work earlier, and I want to say they're 7mm by 7mm, but I don't know if they didn't count legs or what have you. I'll have pictures in the video that I took of the measurement. But regardless, as long as you stay under 7 or under millimeter, you'll be fine. So like what you're looking at now is 6 by 6 millimeter, 0.8 ohm. Those would work perfectly, and that's 100 of them. 100 of those mesh coils for $24.21. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think roughly you're going to pay about $20-25 for a pack of 4 of these. So I mean, you kind of look at it that way. That tells you the difference that you pay out by doing this stuff yourself. So anyway, I plan to be doing that video today, and then I'll have to do another video, or not another video. I'll have to order more stuff. There's that cotton fiber stuff. I haven't found that anywhere else. You know, the only place I found that particular texture and that style of material is for these coil systems, these pod system stuff. So anyway, I look forward to making the video, yeah, but look out for that video today, especially if you're interested in doing that stuff. And man, I am so concerned about that pendulum of power. I really hope that between now and the next election that this nation can heal. But I don't know how. Right? I mean, I can only control me. I'm concerned. It wasn't that long ago that I was saying, you know, looking over at the UK and looking at how their freedom of speech is being taken away and all that, and feeling thankful, feeling grateful that I live here in the United States. Now I'm looking at what's going on in horror. You know, Jimmy Kimmel, fired. Well, not necessarily fired, but show indefinitely canceled. I don't want to say the word fired because that might not be technically what has been said, but his show has been indefinitely canceled. And I know there's a lot of people on the right that's cheering that on. And I'm just looking at it, and I'm at a loss. Now, what he said, I didn't see the actual video of the monologue thing, but I saw like a transcript of it. Absolutely disrespectful. Totally and completely disrespectful. But what happened to the First Amendment? And there we're looking at that opportunism thing now, again. This is not a good path for this nation to go down. And the only way we're going to change it, the only way we're going to fix it, as I've said on this show for a long, long time, it starts in our hearts and in our homes, and then it can build out. I've long said that here, because it's the truth. Not a truth that a lot of people care for, but it's the truth. It has to start at home, in our own hearts, in our own minds. I've said that all along. All along. I hope we can get beyond this as a nation. Anyway, keep your eye out for a how-to rebuild video on these. Keep your eye out for a live stream to be scheduled for either today, tomorrow, whatever. And then I'm working on when, like to do like a slotted time, what daytime, whatever, for like a slotted time. It very likely will be on a Sunday, I'm thinking. I just don't know times. So if it was a Sunday, comment below what time would be best. I wanna do it when it would work out for folks the best. So comment when it would be best, as well as comment on my little intro thingy I said. Let me know your thoughts on it. If there's anything you would change with it, let me know. I mean, it works, but it just doesn't flow like I want it to flow. You know what I mean? And something that I can remember, so that when I do say it, I'm not reading it, because I can't read without you knowing that I'm reading something. So I want it to flow, in other words. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed day. I will see you later. Shalom.